some people get mad when they can't see handsome faces on on the show. But just to jump back in, as far as the domestic violence, just to move a little bit off of Ray Rice, and you can turn on ESPN and watch him all day. Like some of the implications that it has on the family, the community, and those aspects that people aren't talking about. Like, he has a child, and like, in my opinion, if you grow up in a household like that, especially a young man, to see stuff like that, I mean, I think it will have a negative impact on you from every angle. For one, you're growing up thinking this is how men are supposed to treat women. You know, this is how daddy treats mommy. And the worst scenario is if she leaves, you know, an abusive relationship and goes to another one. And then the children keep seeing it. That's when you really start to say, this is how relationships are supposed to be. They don't work things out. You fight things out.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, a lot of times people emulate what they see at home. So a lot of times your marriage or your relationships with women or with men is emulated on what you see at home. So that can be a negative or positive, you know? I mean, it can sway each way. And like you said, if somebody is used to seeing, oh, every time mom and dad have a disagreement, somebody gets socked, then that's how they're going to believe that, you know what, this is right. I mean, and it's funny you say that, because there's a guy who got into it, who was on Facebook, who was saying that just because there's enough images on TV that show what a normal family should be like, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, what are you talking about? First off, second off, TV shows is everything but normal images.
Since the Cosby Show went off the air, name me a positive family on TV.
Thank you. And honestly, that was great because it was positive, but it was still make believe.
Thank you. It's not real life.
It's
like,
not exactly.
If you're a grown man and you're looking for TV to get values,
thank you.
You're lost. You lost right there.
Man,
I mean, honestly, it's television. It's about ratings.
Yeah.
And
whatever
why do you think the Cosby Show stopped?
Yeah.
Because we moved into an era where, like you said, nice families weren't winning. It went to Peggy and Al Bundy.
Yeah.
The dysfunctionals took over from there.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to see Cliff and Claire, who were eating dinner together, doing homework with the kids. Exactly. They wanted to see Peggy and Al, who were trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Roseanne. And
stuff like that. More grim.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny, but it was grim. It was grim comedy. It was dysfunction.
Yeah.
It was very dysfunctional.
Like the 90s TV shows were pretty much, besides like Full House and Urkel or something like that.
Exactly.
They were like dysfunctional. Even the cartoons got dysfunctional. The Simpsons came.
Thank you.
Everything got this.
It just got worse.
Because TV was like, people like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's feed off of the negativity, just pump it into into your system.
More sex, more violence, and more and more. And then we wonder why we see more domestic disputes. We see more children being violent at a young age. Whenever you see that, I mean, video games.
There's a reason behind it. Like, there's...
How many people can you kill in this game? And they make it look as realistic as they possibly can. Did you see where I shot him at?
There was... I think it was... You remember... There was one of those Grand Theft Autos, I want to say San Andreas, where Snoop did the commercial, or they were raping girls, pulling them out of the cars and simulating raping them in a video game. Yeah. And I'm like,
what part of
real life is this?
What value is this to the game?
So you hit it dead on.
Yeah.
It comes back into the community. You see it, little boy sees daddy hitting mommy at home all day. So little girl at school doesn't want to give him the toy.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do? He's gonna hit her.
Exactly.
And I mean, like you said, it's a trickle down. It's a process. Carmelo sees me kiss his mom when I get home from work. He wants to kiss his mom when he gets home from school.
Yeah.
Like, just like you said, they emulate everything they see.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's a shame because now we see this younger generation coming up, and we wonder why they're hitting women, why they're hitting why people are so violent, why they're so mean toward each other, and this is exactly, domestic violence is just going to continue to rise.
thank you.
Anytime you have movies and games who continuously show hit people, knock people out, everybody doesn't have that home at home that is disciplined. Most people, most people don't. People are working. People are away. People are absent. Parents are absent from their children's lives. And they don't have that. And so what do they rely on? They're going off of what they see and do. They play these games. They play, and I'm not saying that everybody who plays this game is going to kill somebody and stuff like that, because I played these games and I didn't. But I'm one person.
Thank you.
There's other people out there who are.
You had a blueprint to go off of at home. A lot of people don't have anything. So a young woman, let's say, growing up, doesn't have the right moral fiber, the good values at home coming up as far as how a man should treat a woman and what should and shouldn't be accepted by a woman. She doesn't see that. So she gets in a relationship with a man, and the first thing she thinks of is, I have to do everything to keep him.
Yeah.
To keep the relationship. So when you start thinking like that, you start letting things slide.
Yeah.
That a strong woman who came from that background would not let slide.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Anything to keep this man, anything to keep this woman around. And like you said, I've seen guys who have been with women that they know are mistreating them. They know are no good. They know but they just continuously let things slide because I want to keep this, because I love the way that she makes me feel, or I love that she does this, or whatever the feeling is that she leaves him with, and we see
that temporary
that temporary feeling. Same with women, guys. You saw the events of him leading up to striking you. You saw him flipping out, breaking stuff.
He started cursing. He started throwing stuff. There's always moments, like you said, that led up to something. Yeah. It's rare that you and your boyfriend were dating for 2-3 years, and then one day, out of nowhere, no argument or anything, he just punched you in the face.
Yeah.
There's usually something that led up to it, and little signs here and there. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you have to talk about your significant other and you use phrases like, I love him, but he only hits me on, when you have to justify and say things like that, I mean, it's, first of all, it's not right. The relationship's done. Like, it's done. And to sit back and it trickles down, like you said. I'm glad you wanted to talk about it. It trickles down into the community, in the house first, and it's going to come out. It's going to come out in some way. Your kids are going to see it. They might not act on it the first time they see it, but it will come out, and it does have an effect. It's a ripple down effect. Your young girl might grow up, and you're wondering why she's with a dude who beats her and devalues her. Your son might grow up and you're wondering why. Well, he was always good. I never beat my son. Why is he hitting his wife? Because daddy or whoever hit mommy. Yeah. And mommy stayed. And and believe me, there's a lot of demons that you don't get rid of them.
Yeah. This worked for dad. This worked for Pap. Yep. We're gonna see if it's gonna work for you. You know, I mean, that's
people don't realize.
Yeah, I mean, just like drug use, anything. I mean, there's that line, that bloodline, is still flowing. These things that haunted your grandfather, they're gonna try to see if they can work for you. Exactly. It might be a problem for you. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's avenues to, like, for any young woman, and like, I'm not saying, like we said earlier on the previous, show with about the football incident and his, Ray and his wife. I'm not advocating it in any way. There's always another way. You just have to recognize some of the warning signs. You know what I mean? You have to recognize, okay, first of all, I would tell any woman, my daughter, his daughter, he shouldn't even get to that line where he has to call you out his name.
Yeah.
First of all, he's with you. You're with him.
Yeah.
So what does that look like if
Thank
I'm
you.
calling you every name that I would call a woman on the street?
Thank you. Does that show love?
Yeah, like
You must really love me.
thank you. And like I told some girl earlier, we set our own parameters for what kind of love we want, what kind of love we'll give,
Yeah.
what kind of love we'll accept.
What kind of household?
Yeah,
you know?
and it's you do have power, and I know if you stay long enough, it does turn into a mental thing. He has some control over you. But what a lot of women that I've talked to today won't, and they after a while of conversation, they kind of got it. You didn't start off with that issue. And something led up to it. You were accepting stuff before because you didn't consider it domestic violence.
Thank
You were accepting cuss outs. You were accepting being mistreated verbally.
Walked over.
Yeah, you were accepting that. So at the end of the day, his last straw was, oh, I can cuss her out, but she's not going to do nothing. I can call her stupid, she's not going to do nothing about it. Probably could hit her too,
Yeah.
and she's not going to do nothing about that. So just
She wants to keep me around.
yeah. So I would just
And it's like you said, like, love yourself. Love yourself enough to say that, you know what, I love myself enough to believe that there's somebody out there that will love me like the person that the person that I am in the way that I deserve to be loved. People a lot of times think that, oh, this person made me feel this way. There's nobody else out there who can, or
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And the truth of the matter is, if that's all they bring to the table is that momentarily that make you feel that way, but all the other time they're cheating on you, they're beating on you,
Yeah.
they're breaking you
Thank
down.
you.
They don't. You can find. Trust me. You can find somebody
it's
better.
a dime a
than
dozen.
them. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly. It's a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And we see. I mean, it's just to go off of just previously now, because domestic abuse is so in the limelight. How long have we known people who are getting abused? I mean,
yeah.
tons. I mean, I can't even. We know a whole lot of women that either are or have been domestically abused, and not just by one man. They've gone into other relationships
It's like
and been domestic. They
just
just
the
keep
same
finding the
thing.
same guy.
It's the
You
same
know,
thing.
the same woman. You know what I mean? And it's like it affects our community so much because, like, to build off of what we were saying, that cycle is going to continue because you
Yep.
have children and they see that, and they have children and they see that, and that cycle just continues.
You got men, that same man, instead of hopefully nipping him in the bud and him getting the repercussions of it, whether it be through the penal system or whatever,
Yeah.
he's going to the next girl thinking like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll start over.
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep it
The
going.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's sad, but it trickles down to father to son, mother to daughter, kid to classmate. It just trickles down, and it's like, I would say for men, because I have a son right now, that your sons need to see the proper way for men to release anger and frustration. Because a lot of times we're always taught like, when you get mad, you got to hit something.
Yep. Yeah. Aggressive nature. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. If somebody does something to
Yeah.
sock them,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
push them, like, yeah. I mean that's the nature that a lot of men come from.
and we get like you said, a lot of men growing up today, especially with sports, the culture as way sports is. We raise young boys that you don't release frustration, you just suck it up. And if you don't release it, it's gonna come out.
Yeah, it's gonna overflow. It's just like a glass.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's just gonna overflow.
You keep shaking that soda, but when you twist the top off, it's gonna blow up. And that's why I disagree when guys they teach you that men should be one way.
Yeah.
Women should be able to show their emotions, and
Men can't cry and men stuff. Yeah.
No.
That leads a lot of time, I believe, up to domestic abuse.
Thank you.
Because we have so many people who are walking around with all this pent up anger that eventually you say the wrong thing and it just comes flying physically.
They can't control it.
They can't even control it.
They
Before
can't
you
control
know it, they're blacking out. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I think that's something that we, as men, and we can just speak on this because we are men. It's something that we really have to work as men to train our sons that it's okay to show emotion, that it's okay to release. Yeah. You know, that it's okay to cry and you know, because that is, you're going to release one way or the other, either beneficial, either positive or negative.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, like, so you can.
God didn't give you these emotions
to just pin them up.
To just keep them inside you and not let them out and learn from them and better yourself from them and you know, like learn how to control them and curve them and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
do all those things.
Anytime something happens to me or there's a death in the family or something happens I don't understand, I might not cry out in the open in front of everybody, but when I get home or I get somewhere, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I'm gonna let it out. You know what I mean? Because does that make me any less of a man? Does that make me any less masculine? No. It means I gotta, hey, you know what? This is inside of me. This is bothering me. I need to let this out. I need to get this emotion out. And you know what? When I get it out, whenever you do, you feel so much.
Feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to think and you're able to understand, okay, well, you know what? Maybe this is what it is, or maybe this is where I need to go, what I need to do.
Because I think so many, in relationships, so many people think men and women, well, they're just cursing at me. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, we're arguing, but we're cursing. And I'm like, that's like two people in a bar drinking, and they start cursing at each other. You know where it's leading to.
Thank you.
You know exactly.
And on top of that, alcohol too. You know exactly
it's like two people in a bar who don't know each other and don't have no emotional ties. So you tend to act a little more aggressive when you're emotionally tied to that person.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, and I always say, I don't like to yell and scream because once you get to that certain level of conversation, to me, you don't have much control over what you're saying. You're not rationalizing anymore. It's all out of anger. You just want to hurt the person as much as you can. Women too.
Yeah.
You just want to, and I'll give women credit. You guys can.
You can hurt us even more. You can hurt it because you can break. You can hurt emotionally, and especially in a lot of in a lot of situations where you're in relationships. Men, we as men, we put you on a pedestal because you're our girl. So we put you, or you're our wife. You know, we put you on a pedestal above everybody, or at least you should.
Yeah.
You know, if you love her, and whenever that person who you put on that pedestal says something that is to me demoralizing, you know, or is just very hurtful, it hits deeper. I mean, it feels like somebody literally punched you in your chest and tore your heart out.
And a lot of dudes, if you're not in this position, just listen. Because it hurts.
One day you will.
You will.
I mean, one day you will.
In that position, and it hurts. I remember
mental punches.
The only time I was talking to my buddy about this today. The only time me and my wife had any kind of argument that was that bad, I just walked away. Just I don't care if she gets mad at me or not. I know. I don't want to get to the point like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
but just walking away.
Yeah, I mean That's exactly, you said it exactly right. Me and Angel have our relationship and our rules. Everybody should have rules when it comes to arguments or fighting. And that's whether you're married, dating, whatever it may be. There's certain things that lines that you will not cross. Under no circumstances, this line is not to be crossed. You do not put your hands on me. You do not say things that are blatantly disrespectful and hurtful, and that you know are going to break the person down. You know, and because words do hurt, and once you say them, they can't be taken back. They're remembered. You remember it for it. Second off, if we are that mad and we're that angry, we need to separate. We need to walk away for a while, for an hour or two, calm down, think about it, and we will come back and we will fight. We will not fight, excuse me. We will talk about it, and we will find a way to come to a resolution. And to actually let it out and say, you know what, this is how I feel, this is why I felt this way, and blah, 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 and actually listen to each other. And after that, okay, you know, we're going to squash it. It's squashed. All right, this is what we're going to do. It's squashed. Don't keep
revisiting the same. Like, that should be rule number one in relationships. You don't revisit
if it's squashed,
the same
it's squashed.
argument. If we agree that we're moving on from this, it's like anything in life. Okay, we're not going to go back and do it over. Don't revisit it. It's done. It happened. I might have been wrong. You might have been wrong. We both might have been wrong. We were able to see each other's point of view. We might, just like anything, we might not agree 100%, but we respect and value the relationship in each other enough to know that sometimes it's bigger than yourself. It's bigger than Matt, especially like you said, if it's your wife. I mean, girlfriend is one thing. Hopefully you progress to get to that, to that marriage level. But if it's your wife, then I feel, fellas, you owe her that much to shut up. And listen. I mean, honestly. I mean,
exactly. That everybody needs to be heard. And you cannot dominate the conversation and expect to come to a resolution.
No.
You know, I mean, you can't dominate her and expect for her to be okay and come to a resolution and it not to be revisited.
And I think it goes back to, a lot of dudes are like that in some aspects, and I think you hit it like 3 or 4 minutes ago, because they feel like to compromise and to be walking together is not masculine. They feel like you have to reign over top of your girl and dominate a conversation, the household, everything, an argument.
I'll talk louder.
Thank you.
She talks loud, I'll talk louder.
So I think like a lot of dudes probably do feel like, oh man, look at him. He shut up. She said shut up, so he shut up. No, he values the relationship. So it's not shutting up. It's showing her I actually appreciate you. So I'm mad at you, which it happens. I get mad at my wife, she gets mad at me. But at the same time, if she wants to talk or I want to speak, they have the right to actually get their point across for me to listen. And if you're going to walk away, like I always say, don't just get up and run out. You can easily say, I need to clear my head because I don't want to say something stupid. And if they can't respect that,
then something's wrong. You need to get away.
Like if you can sit here, if you can't say to your wife or your husband or whatever, whoever, boyfriend, girlfriend, and say, you know what? Right now, I don't think we're in a good place with the conversation. I just need to step back for like 15, 20 minutes, clear my head, and then we can talk. If they get mad about that, something's wrong because you're showing them respect by not going straight to to the anger.
Exactly. And the thing is, no matter who you are, if somebody catches you at that wrong moment,
thank you.
Tag got out the cage, and that's one of those things why it's so important to have that time to walk away and reflect. and think about things and say, you know what, okay, was it as bad? Because most of the time it's never as bad as it seems.
We can just keep going
Yeah.
and not shut up,
Exactly.
and then it gets worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
you don't have time to actually sit down and rationalize it out.
No.
And it's never as bad as it seems. And then, but if you don't take that time to do that, and you guys are coming at each other full steam already, and you haven't had that time to wind down, hey, you know, somebody says the wrong thing, does the wrong thing, whatever it may be, tiger gets out of the cage.
I look at it like this.
You know,
Like the 15 minutes that you can walk away can save your relationship.
Yeah.
That 1 second
maybe
of you
freedom.
snapping can ruin it.
exactly. Yeah,
It
That-
can
that's
ruin
all it takes. Yeah, that's
And
all
next
it
thing
takes.
you know, like you said, if you're a guy and your freedom can be
Yeah.
you're behind bars now.
You touch her.
And then you're locked up. You're with a bunch of men who they want to put their hands on you.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
Yeah,
No hugs.
yeah.
So I mean, there's always
exactly. It's
two sides to the coin, like you
Yeah.
were saying on some
Yeah.
of the Facebook posts. But there's always a right and a wrong way to handle communicating. Like just like you said with this show, we never attack anybody.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, I feel like at some point,
Yeah.
there about some topics, I feel like
Yeah.
I could attack, but I'm not. You shouldn't be in the conversation for that.
Yeah.
Especially-
we're trying to make it different.
Yeah, especially with your significant other, with your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, girlfriend. The whole point of a conversation is to build
Mhm.
and to learn and to grow. And the whole domestic violence thing, if you're not learning off of one another and growing with one another, I mean, it's problems. Like we touched on relationships weeks ago. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It went back and touched on them again and again. It's the process of who you're going to be with. You have to keep. You should, like you said, you should have rules for conversation. You should have that rule before you get with anyone. Before you meet him or Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, you should have that, like he said, you should have those guidelines already.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that was just one. Again, just something that I picked up from my parents. It's just certain things that if we're gonna get into an argument, and my parents never argued and fought in front of. I mean, never fought. That's a harsh word, but got into a confrontation.
Yeah.
Over something in front of us, but we knew there was always things that my dad told me. This is how we and your mother will not do. We will not do this, 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 and this, and there's rules to engagement. You know what I mean? Like, and I just think when it comes to domestic abuse in all of us, a lot of times timing is everything. I mean, if you really sit and think, is it really that bad that somebody needs to actually physically put their hands
I
on
need
you?
to beat up my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like when is the?
Yeah, or I need
You
to
always
say
have two
something that's-
directions,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
You can.
yeah. Or the worst thing that I've ever seen somebody do is to physically spit. That to me is the lowest form of
Yeah.
degradation I've
Yeah.
ever seen. I mean,
Yeah.
that is such.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is just the lowest form.
Many times I
Of
said that was the
disrespect.
worst thing
Yeah.
someone could. I'd rather be smacked in the face.
Exactly. Yeah, I would
by
rather
a
be
man.
struck. Yeah.
I'd rather be
Yeah.
punched in the chest, stomach,
Yeah.
mouth,
Yeah. Than spit on.
and spit on.
That is just grotesque. I mean, that is just, that's so grotesque. And it's like when you see that, to me, you do something like that, it's over. That's just like putting your hands on me. It's over. It's
like-
done. That's it.
Like you said earlier, I mean, certain people, their filter, a lot of men, their filter might not be like his.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of men don't have that walk away filter. A lot of men don't have that.
They're going at you.
You hit him.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He might be bigger, stronger than you. If you hit him, he doesn't have that. Girl, stop playing.
Yeah.
No, he's like, girl, it's time to go then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You touch me, I'm gonna touch you back.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I mean, you should come into any relationship. You should always have those values in you. This is what I'm not going to accept
Yeah.
from any guy or any woman.
Thank you.
In that way, you don't have to
Get
adjust your values when you get into the relationship.
Exactly. Or get too far down to the point
Yeah.
where now you're attached to them. Yeah.
Thank you.
You don't have to worry about that because when he acted up the first time, or he showed you something the first time, or she.
Once he violated something on your list,
Yeah. See you later.
yeah. And one thing I'll say is, if you have a friend, like we were saying, who's going through something, and you know they're going through something, and they don't want to hear it, because most people, when they're in that domestic, they don't want to hear, go get help, because that's what everybody's going to tell them. But if you love them and you care for their well-being, you'll stay on them lightly. You won't keep hounding them, but because it's the right thing for them to do, is to try to get them out of that abusive situation. They might not want to hear it, but if you say it subtly, time to time, and you keep enough, hopefully it'll register, because you could be saving your friend or your brother or your sister's life. You know what I mean? It is something to be taken serious. I mean, everybody, like you said earlier, everybody doesn't get to come on SportsCenter and Twitter the next morning like, what's her name, Janae?
Janae, yeah.
Janae, and tell their story. A lot of women don't make it that far.
Yeah.
So if you do know someone in that situation, there's hotlines, they're 24/7, they're anonymous. I mean, just keep giving them subtle reminders, boost their confidence and
Yeah.
reassurance, and let them know that.
that's a huge that's a huge deterrent.
Yeah.
Boost their confidence. Let them know how valuable and precious they are.
It's sad. It's a blessing to sit around a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend that are happy, and the girl has confidence and she knows she's sexy and she.
It's attractive.
They're supposed to. Your woman's supposed to be like that, and she's supposed to hear from her husband. You're beautiful. You look good. You deserve flowers. It's sad as a man to sit around a woman who's been broken down like that by some man.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're rich, poor. You're just some man.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's it.
to break someone down. First of all, it's sick to want to do that to someone. He has issues.
Yeah.
But to break someone down like that and to watch a woman, God didn't create women. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Supposed to be appreciated by man and vice versa. But unfortunately, I'm saying it because women are usually on the end of the domestic violence. Like, just to see someone broken down like that mentally, physically, emotionally, to the point that they think they deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's like, that's sad. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's awful to see somebody who has physically and mentally been taken advantage to the point that they don't feel that they have really any self-worth. I mean, that's always just a really disheartening sight, because you see a person who literally feels that they're as low as the rug that they're on, and that's just, and then whenever sometimes you talk to them, and it just, there's things that they say about themselves or the way they talk down about themselves or whatever, just egregious statements, like it's just like, oh my goodness, that's just it's anybody who's ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a horrible sight. You feel awful for the person.
Bad.
They make you feel bad.
You want someone to rescue. It's like a wounded animal. You want someone to come along and, in a way, rescue this person. And it's sad. And like, as a man, to me, if you're a guy, and I've seen guys who've done it before, to me, you have not. There's no respect level as a man that you get from me. If that's the course of action you have to take beating on your woman
Yeah.
to signify your manhood,
manhood, yeah.
and and reign over top of your woman, and
Yeah.
make sure you're the king of the castle.
Exactly. I mean, if the only way that you can maintain order in the household is by beating a person down, you don't have order.
No.
You're not maintaining.
No.
All you're a terrorist.
Pretty much.
That's
yeah.
it. That's
There's
it. You're
no.
a terrorist. You're trying to bottle people and control people through terror. Who wants to have a household that you cannot physically? First
Yeah.
off, we should be able to collectively maintain, run, and keep the peace in the household. We shouldn't have to terrorize the other
Exactly.
into acting right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It doesn't work.
it
Like
doesn't
that.
work that way.
So
mean,
I would just hope any ladies that are watching this and you're in a happy relationship, which I hope everybody is. If you have a friend that is in a bad relationship, I would ask them that you ask, your friend to watch it. You know what I mean? Just so sometimes it's always better to get an outsider's perspective, like myself and Jordan. You might get tired of your mom or your sister or your brother saying, "Why don't you leave so and so? He's no good for you," and that's all they hear. But we're bringing different components of it and different aspects of it as far as how it can affect, children. You can lose your job over it. He's hitting, and the thing that messes me up is, I love my wife's face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why would you want?
Why? Yeah.
After
Honestly,
walking around.
as a man, like,
And to look at that day in and day out and not
feel
some type of way about it.
Thank you.
That's just sick. It's sadistic, kid. It's sadistic. That's just
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
But yeah, I mean, I hope everybody's really enjoyed this 2-part segment, because I know I really have.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it was a hot topic, and it's obviously a very relevant topic.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They say
Yeah.
every 9 seconds a woman is in a domestic violence situation. And wow.
Yeah.
So we've been taping 2 shows for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
Thank you.
So like I said, he's raising a daughter. I'm raising a daughter. And it's real out. You know what I mean? So I would just, like I said, just ladies and men, equip yourself mentally and emotionally with the right things. Put yourself in a right situation, and if you feel anything, it's human nature. You feel something in your stomach, you know it ain't right.
Yeah.
Honestly, trust your gut. And I pray, and I know it's like asking for racism to go away.
Yeah.
I pray that no woman would ever be in this situation, but if you are in a situation, I pray that you take care of it before it takes over you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and that's real. I mean, that's all you can do, But I hope this definitely can benefit somebody. It's been a pleasure, and definitely keep following us. We got some really great, definitely. So thank you everybody who sent out emails. We definitely got a lot of feedback leading up to this, and we really appreciate it, because you're what fuel us. So definitely we're gonna close out.